raring to go for our second series of the day, going from Division 1 into Division number 2. You might see a familiar name, but different roster for Central Bucks South, having just in their previous game gotten the 2-0, now going into their next division against McDowell. And we have a ringer, of course, playing. So it's going to be a really fun time to see how they can synergize very quickly in this first of two best of three. Once again, starting off on Oasis and to push into a possible flashpoint for a map 3. We're still Llama, and we're happy to cover this final series of the PIA stream for today.
It's going to be fun. Last best of 3 of the day, at least for us. Of course, so much more action across all of our other streams, our Night Owl streams as well. But this one's exciting. Similar to that first matchup, both teams enter the day today 1-0, +2 in map differential. So this will truly separate who's moving up to that upper echelon and might have an easier route to the playoffs.
Oh, for sure. And at that point, you need to think about the future, right? The playoffs. So everything you do from here on out, from week one into the week before playoffs, it all matters. There's absolutely no day to start slipping. There's no day to start not scrimming and not practicing. It all counts to get into playoffs. As we said earlier, Oasis is the name of the game. We had seen Central Bucks South A team play the D.Va once more. Braden gonna look like we're looking the D.Va again. So with that being said, we have McDowell on personally one of my favorite heroes, Malga. You know, I know a lot of people have a little bit PTSD about Malga, but I'm trying to get over it, and I love the Samoan so much. Can't wait to see what we do on University, a brawlier map.
I love this one, although if you lose the point, as we saw on series number 1 of the day, it's going to be a little bit tough to control some of those other choke points. And as we mentioned, getting to see not only the Malga, but some great damage. Braden already opening things.
Oh, and we trade off for, of course, at Freya, the jump onto Memmer, unfortunately on the Juno. Taken down early for Central Bucks, so despite them having gotten the first opening pick, the trades are very much in favor of McDowell here. The Malga stabilizing with the Genji and the Zenyatta on the objective, now getting the very late DMAC and subsequently a late stagger onto Braden.
Interesting for Hero Fall, getting a lot of really good angles and pumping out damage, but for Central Bucks South, they've been able to somewhat manage that with the backline damage return. Interestingly enough, because they have the Genji, they have that Reflect, they can play those corridors really well, but their healers are doing just such a good job keeping them alive.
Oh, they sure are. I love this Kiriko and Lucio, Kiriko and Zenyatta see the backline from McDowell, but Hero will be the first one to go down. Very much left naked without the Cardiac Overdrive, without the run, and no deflect either. Forced to be in the corner, waiting for some heals from the Kiriko, but very quickly sought out by Braden on this D.Va. Other than that, it's just a matter of cleaning up the running soldier, cleaning up this out-of-place Kiriko, and we flip it right before the 40%.
I like the idea in that last team fight too. It's kind of just protect the president. Braden goes in, everybody heals him, and then the kills are soon to follow. Now, McDowell did earn up to 37%, but because they swapped the main hero, their tank, Hero Fall, doesn't get to use their ultimate, and it's reset, but opens with a kill.
Beautifully done onto the Buzz fan as well. No reason to be seen, not really big damage output in favor of Central Bucks either without the character, meaning that leaves Blaze, that leaves the couch all really open to the forces of the Zenyatta, of the Genji as well. Very quick flip here, 40% now garnered, and that bubble is getting some charge.
Shotgun straight into the bubble, not gonna feel good. Braden also has that ultimate ready to go. That D.Va bomb, especially in close corridors inside the point, can deal some damage. McDowell's over 50%, but they lose their DPS.
And they're walking with a sound barrier on top of that. Blade could be used here as there is no real response to it from the opposition. Sentinel does get used as well as a continued rush. Blade gets procced, tries to find a target, does land on the Lucio of all people. Next coming down, likely going to be that Reaper with the Discord Orb on top of them. Bola shot from the high ground, not looked at by the opposition. D-Mech into the fray and the bomb for a quick remake. Stay alive in the fight, only now getting the flip. We are off the point, so we are still giving McDowell a little bit of extra credit.
McDowell only needs to win one more fight to really retake this point and take sub-map number 1, but Central Bucks South smartly using their ultimates at a perfect time. Those bolas just locked them up and sent them down to the ground with the Buzz fan in their face, continually aiding in the damage.
I mean, 4% away from Death Blossom. And we're gonna rip it immediately. Defense Matrix does at least try to help the Buzz stay a little bit alive, but a beam does in fact go through it. The D.Va don't even know how we got over that half wall, but we're hiding away. Graviton Surge comes online and Blaze Plays is playing the game, getting rid of the Grab Maker. Hero Fall falls back over his spawn room. A little bit of a late stagger onto the gamer. And with that being said, $100 has solidified a 70% marker here on University.
Dow just didn't have the resources to fight that last one. Molten was the first player to go down, and without that supplemental DPS, along with Michael, without that cleanse, it was just a really tough one. They've got to win this one right here.
Almost gets caught out early by the Zarya, or by the D.Va, unfortunately, but thankfully teleports back to this Reaper, stay alive. Hero Fall walks onto the couch, and we are back in that spawn room, so we're down a boost, we're down a speed boost. We have members over the Ray, but not gonna get procced, not before the Buzz fan does go down early to not only the Zenyatta, but also the very hard charge Zarya. 80% in fact is in favor of this Zar. Bullet shot finds both of the backliners, and we're suddenly in overtime here, Llama, and we're suddenly down forces for McDowell. We can be as high charges on this Zar, but you cannot be out-angled. You cannot take off the pressure from this Lucio, this Kiriko, this anybody, or Lucio and Juno. That being said, 100% Bucks, but they started off on a really rough foot and brought it back.
Engaging score.
Ultimates together was the real big key there for Central Buck South, especially towards the end. They used that Juno laser combined with the bolas to just save fight. And as you mentioned, Hero Fall got that huge charge up, got a few early picks, but Central Buck South had saved those ultimates for a perfect position to fight their way back. And after trailing from a deficit of, what was it, like 75 to 25%, they come back, they win sub-map number 1, and they're on the verge of taking map number 1.
Oh, they sure are. And a very well done one at that. University, so brawl heavy, right? And the team that was playing brawl couldn't really find the leg up, right? Now we're forced into 2 dive sub maps if we go around 2, or if we go through 2 and 3, right? Brayden's gonna have a fun time on this D.Va, 100%. But I am worried about this Freya from Blaze Plays. Has been a menace since we have seen the character since release into this match. Brayden in the back line, finding Michael, taking care of all of the cooldowns in the world, then taking care of the Kiriko. On top of that, Molten finds death early in the fight. And look at this. They went to the back line and now going over to find the Zarya all by themselves.
That was just an insane amount of stack-up kills there from Brayden, who wraps around the side, and target selection has been perfection ever since that comeback on submap number 1. Michael the first to fall, but more importantly, they just leave Hero Fall. They say, you go do your thing 1v5, we'll take out the rest of your backline.
Smart plays all around, leaves Zarya by herself, and then she's kind of a sitting duck, especially with no supports and no bubbles. That being said, the fight is very much ongoing, very much already starting in the enemy territory. Molten saw out early on the Sombra of all characters. Very great scouting from the opposition, as we are seeing a lot of unfavorable trades happening for McDowell, losing everybody, and once again, leaving the tank all by themselves. The D-Mech here is going to be very heartfelt alongside this supplemental stagger.
Ultimates are there, fight wins are there. Central Buck South is doing everything correct, and controlling these 2 corridors more than ever is ever important for Hero Fall and crew. They're constantly changing heroes and just not getting these ultimates on board as a double comes through from Brayden's bomb.
Oh, what a beautiful bomb as well. Very forward-facing, and it caught the 2 most important members of any team, your backliners. And they're only walking in further, Llama, into this enemy territory. Oh, unfortunately, Hero Fall does get kind of stuck into a corner. Couldn't quite find the spawn area again. Michael getting a little bit active with the Barbie Blaster, gets rid of the Buzz fan in the meantime, forcing a regroup for Central Bucks.
80% though. I mean, it's now or never. They get to push off the extended kill, and Hero Fall gets to remech. This could be the fight that McDowell needed to earn themselves some percentage.
And all because of the overextension from Central Bucks as well. EMP committed in the fray. Molten does go down, but the EMP is in fact going to be felt for an extended amount of time in this fight here. Sound Barrier does get used by the couch just to keep our D.Va alive and hopefully give Brayden that extra 40%, 30% into a remech here. Bomb online though for Hero Fall. This could become messy as we do start the engagement. and we get a little bit of a squish damage. So can we get out? No. Bomb gets used a little bit earlier than I think was expecting, but the buzz does not fade out in time.
Buzz just stared that one down as the rest of the team fight collapses around them. Hero fall. Once again, the maneuverability is good, but Central Bucks is fighting on the point.
They sure are, with the orbital rate to boot from Memer as well. Blaze did kind of self-destruct earlier with the Freya projectiles. That's A-OK. Are coming back soon enough. The Mercy found without a GA, but still getting a little bit of healing output with the Soldier healing pad, but it's not enough to keep them alive. Especially now that the Buzzcan and Blaze are back in this fight here. They're seeking out Molten early, but mind you, we're at 95% to completion with a Bomb, Blossom, and Bullet shots.
Should one be wrapped up real quickly. They'll drop the bomb just for heck's sake, and McDowell can't get back to the point. A really clean submap number 2 for Central Bucks South, as once again, savoring the team fights, working off each other, and surviving for so dang long until the end of the team fights to let those respawns happen. Molten will earn the play of the game.
Oh, they sure will. Really well done with the Genji. I will say, just kind of capitalizing on the angles being made by their other DPS and just kind of executing anyone who dared to touch a point, like our poor old the couch there. Either way, very well done. Really good reversal from South Bucks. Like we recall, the very beginning of Oasis, Oasis City Center and University, they struggled a tiny bit. You know, they lost a point at 75%, and they brought it back, as you mentioned, a quarter of the objective back over to 99%, and that's impressive in of its own right. And they took that momentum and just ran with it wholeheartedly on City Center. With that being said, though, we now have the push map type coming up our way for map 2. The selection between Colosseo, Runasapi, and Esperanza is in the field of McDowell.
Colosseo is what we got to see going into that first series, and it's pretty popular, especially with the high school crews. It's one that they've known for a long period of time if they've been playing for multiple years over end. But Central Bucks South, again, we go to their feeder program and what they've been able to do to not only Division 1 but Division 2 now as well. I mean, this could be a day where on the mainstream Central Bucks South doesn't drop a single map if they can find a way to win it. Now, I think the good news for McDowell, you take a push map just in general, there's more chances to fight, there's more chances to win, and because of how well thought you mentioned that submap number 1 was, it gives me some good hope that we might just get that map number 3.
I have a feeling we do, and I always like a good Flashpoint, so I am hoping, as an unbiased caster, of course, but I do, again, love Flashpoint. I want to see some Saravasa Atlas action, you know? So I want us to go to round number 3. Although, you know, map differential, not my favorite. You know, if I'm the team, I mean, no, I don't want a map loss. Okay, well, I want a third map, so please excuse me for wanting Flashpoint action in my Overwatch game, but we gotta get through push first. So the next 10 minutes could be do or die for Central Bucks. You know, they could do and win and get the 2-0 in their favor, mirroring the Division 1 allies or Division 1 team here, or they lose it here, go to round 3, and McDowell has the opportunity for a small reverse sweep, a very lighthearted one since it is a best of 3, not as spectacular as a reverse sweep for the 3-0, but it's still something to note, especially with how well they did play the first part of University. I think there is definitely something there, especially if we lean towards a Colosseo or an Esperanza.
Good news for Central Bucks South is, sure, McDowell, they have to win 2 straight to be able to go to that map number 3. They have a chance if they win this second map, but you have 2 chances, right? Even if you don't win here, there's something about momentum and a reverse sweep that pops up with map number 3, but it's another chance. There's always a silver lining for you as a team, especially for how hard you worked on that second submap, being able to generate so many team fights and playing the dive perfectly. McDowell, it felt like in submap number 1, had figured out everything. And then into submap number 2, especially, they were subbing heroes at kind of awkward times, losing ultimate percentage, and, you know, trying to figure out that composition is honestly what a lot of teams struggle with in this early couple of weeks. I mean, you're dealing with new players, possible players that, as we mentioned, series number 1, have their favorite hero they want to bring, and sometimes you just have to play around that.
Oh, 100%. It can always kind of fall back to what's been good so far, and arguably what's been good for a long time. Of course, my mind immediately goes to Freya and Sojourn as just long-standing great DPS picks in general.